Hey guys, welcome in. I'm Jasmine Cornell here on Fox 5 News Live, where we're streaming on Fox Local and some of your social media sites, your favorite ones like TikTok. So if you have any questions, remember this is a news conversation, so drop your comments in the comment section of those social media apps like TikTok, and we'll try to address them. But guys, I want to get out to some breaking news out of Cobb County. We do know there's a heavy police presence near a high school there, and I'm throwing up a banner for you right now. So we don't know much information about what's going on here, but Skyfox 5 is over the school, and you can see that right there. So far, we know that this is in Powder Springs. The high school is Hillgrove High School. And then there's a heavy police presence in this area. We did receive a little bit of info from Cobb County Police, so I'll read that to you really quickly. Some of our units, they say, responded to assist the Cobb County School District Police. So we are waiting to receive more information from School District Police, Cobb County Police, and also Cobb County Board of Education. It looks like some students there are standing outside along with officers. We don't know right now if those students are going back into the building or if, they're getting ready to go elsewhere, like home. But we do know that the school issued a code red. So this is pretty big here, and we're continuing to monitor this situation because can be a scary situation. Again, all we know right now, police presence at Hillgrove High School in Cobb County. This is in Powder Springs. We know that several departments responded to this incident here. Cobb County School District Police, of course, and you have Cobb County Police. And we're waiting to receive more information from those entities and the Cobb County Board of Education. So this is our Skyfox 5 over this school right now. As you can see, there's some students, people standing outside there, outside of the school. And we're working to learn what is happening next here and what caused the situation, what caused the police presence here at this high school in Powder Springs. Guys, let's go ahead and move forward, and we'll bring you updates on this as we get more information. Let's talk about what Fox 5 News is working on and bring in Tanya Mendoza. She's our assignment manager, and she has a look at some of the stories we've been covering here. First, security wait times. We know that you all have been waiting. Some of you all who are traveling have been waiting long times to in the security and TSA waiting lines. So let's go ahead and bring in Tanya. She has a look there, or she has an update there. It sounds like, Tanya, that wait times are improving.
There was a morning rush, and there were long lines this morning, but it sounds like right now it's pretty thin. According to our reporter at the airport, Ray Yedena is out there. He'll be out there all day long. Basically, for the past 2 days, as you know, the airport has ceased to providing official wait times on their the website that they had specifically for that. We do know that yesterday, ICE agents were deployed out to the airport and other airports throughout the country to help. And they're in there helping with crowd control, basically, and helping the lines continue moving. And also, in a statement from TSA today, they said that they were there for crowd control and ID checks to free up some of the TSA screeners. So, as you can see in the video right there, it does appear that the lines have improved, and we'll continue to monitor this story as it continues while the shutdown is still taking place. I do want to mention real quick that Delta Airlines basically sent out a statement today saying they halted specialty services that allowed members of Congress to skip the public TSA line. So that's new. And basically they're saying there's impact on resources from longstanding government shutdown. Lawmakers will now be treated as standard passengers based on their Sky Miles status. So that's new from Delta. Jasmine?
Tanya, thank you so much for giving us that update here. Good news that security wait times are improving for people who are traveling. But, I know that some people have expressed some concern with the ICE agents at the airport. Have you been able to have any of the reporters been able to speak to anyone or speak to this, the
Yeah.
concerns that people are having about the ICE
Yesterday,
agents?
I want to say around 5 o'clock, there was actually a protest at the airport.
Okay.
And we had a reporter out there following that. The group of people that were protesting basically said that it wasn't a spot for ICE to be at, but also they were just saying that the TSA officers need to be paid so they can do their job. So that was part of what we covered yesterday. And I believe that story is on our website if people want to go ahead and take a look at it.
Yes, Tanya, thank you so much for bringing that up and talking about this important story that we've been covering, guys. And like Tanya said, we'll continue to monitor the TSA wait times and also the ICE agents being deployed at the airports in Atlanta and across the country. Speaking of airports, it seems like, Tanya, travelers just can't catch a break here. I mean, car thefts at the airport, and this, from what I've researched, has been happening in the Atlanta area for a few years now.
Yeah, that's right. So over a year now, we have been covering airport thefts, and it was a big problem specifically last year. I know our reporter Eric Perry kind of was following this for several days and continued to follow it. But today, Angelique Proctor is going to have a story where the Atlanta police chief, Darren Shearbaum, yesterday at the council meeting was talking about this, and he said that it's improved. While airport vehicle thefts rose last year, new initiatives have led to a nearly 50% reduction at the airport and a 26% drop citywide. Let's listen into what he had to say about a specific arrest that they've made in this case.
Because the trend that we saw last year of high-end cars being targeted and then programmers being used to actually steal those cars has continued. We did take into custody one individual, Sherelle Reed, who we have alleged stole cars from our airports on the August 18th of last year, September 20th last year, 2 cars on October 12th of last year, and another vehicle in October. Those were Cadillac Escalades as well as Corvettes that were being stolen. Almost all of those were stolen with a programmer, the ability to get close to the vehicle, be able to bring up a fake key and be able to take the vehicle without breaking any glass, without setting off any alarm systems. We encourage everyone to carry with them clubs and other devices that allow you to ensure that tactic is not successful. Ms. Reed has posted bond, and then last week we issued arrest warrants charging her with 5 additional motor vehicle thefts that we have identified. And so what we are seeing is organized groups targeting the airport, high-end vehicles using programmers.
So yeah, so that's it's good news coming from the Atlanta Police Department, and especially for people who are driving around in those kinds of vehicles, high-end vehicles like Cadillac Escalades and Corvettes, where it sounds like a group of criminals were using programmers to steal the cars. And now they've made a significant arrest, and Angelique Proctor will have more on the charges against Sherelle Reed and the overall story later today.
Yes, looking forward, Tanya, to learning more about this and seeing what Angelique can get on this story. And I'm also curious to know if, these criminals are targeting reportedly high-end cars, if any of the car companies have came out and said that they're going to address the situation as well.
I know that the chief did mention the use of the club and other physical locks to defeat electronic programming tactics, which, those have been around for a while, but I have not heard anything from the car companies, but that's a really good question. I'll pass it along to Angelique Proctor to see if she can have a response later.
Thank you so much, Tanya. And, since I have you on here, I do want to see if you have any additional information. Earlier on the stream, not too long ago, we talked about the issue at Hillgrove High School out in Powder Springs. And I know that, we're continuing to monitor this situation. The school in a code red, are they still in that code red?
It looks like we just got an email from the Cobb County School District Communications Department. I'm just going to read it to you. So I'm going to turn my head over here and look at my screen. They're saying that earlier today, Hillgrove High School was placed on a code red lockdown after a firearm was detected on campus. District police responded immediately, and the situation from detection to lockdown to the student being taken into custody was resolved in approximately 12 minutes. A 15-year-old student is now in custody, and the firearm has been recovered. We are grateful for the swift action of our police department. There is no active threat, and teaching and learning have resumed. So there you go.
Okay.
They finished like the whole investigation. It looks like everything went down in 12 minutes, and now kids are getting back into the classrooms to learn. But our chopper still shows some students or parents outside. So I'm sure it was a scary day for parents to receive this kind of news. I do know that an email was sent out to all parents at that school, pretty much saying what's in this statement from the Cobb County school district. So that's a quick update. We did move our reporter Tyler Fingert over to that area. I'm sure he'll have much more from parents and the school later today.
Yes, a very scary situation. I can't imagine being a parent or student here in this situation. And I know if I was a parent, I would just want to get my kid out of that school. I know that's not feasible for all parents, but it is very scary here, and I'm glad that they were able to resolve this situation. It sounds like within 12 minutes. And also, not good news to hear, that a child was arrested as well. But you do things like this, or you cause incidents like this, there's consequences for that. But I guess we'll look for, we'll have information soon, Tanya, on the charges that this student is facing.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll update us with charges later today, if not tomorrow.
Tanya, I do want to bring up one more story that we've been covering here really quickly. We have been covering that fire that destroyed the historic Floyd County Courthouse. I don't know much of the history with the courthouse, but could you provide some insight there?
Yeah, so it's a 134-year-old courthouse in Rome that burned down on Monday afternoon. The iconic bell tower partially collapsed as flames gutted the roof. No injuries were reported. All individuals were evacuated safely. 35 employees were displaced. County tax and tag offices are closed and at least through Wednesday, because that historic courthouse is the one that housed those offices. So that's important to know. I do want to mention that the city manager for the city of Rome, where the courthouse is located in Floyd County, did put out a traffic alert earlier on Facebook. Basically, he said the following streets remain closed for safety. That's North 5th Avenue from Bale Street to Broad Street, and then Tribune Street from 4th Avenue to 5th Avenue. We do have Kevin Stewart out there. He's going to have an update later in our shows. A really sad situation in Floyd County yesterday. What I will say is, when I saw our reporter Denise Dillon out there, who went out there immediately once we found out that the fire was taking place, and we started getting calls from people in Rome. It was just really a strange scene to see, because she was like reporting, she was doing a live interview. I think at that point her photographer wasn't there, so she may have been using her streaming kit. And basically it looked like the whole town was just sitting behind her or lining up in the streets watching this structure burnt down. And you could just, through the images that you saw from her live shot, you could tell everybody was just like in awe. Oh my gosh, what's happening, So the video is really impressive. We want to thank all our viewers who actually called us and sent us the video while this was happening, because sometimes we don't know about stories unless we get calls from viewers. Police and fire sometimes are too busy to let us know about it. So we want to thank them for letting us know. And obviously it's a sad situation that they're going to have to work on for some time out there.
Yes, absolutely. Tanya, thank you so much for joining us to talk about what Fox 5 is working on today. Guys, we're going to go ahead and move forward there and then talk about the fatal airport collision at the LaGuardia Airport in New York. So we've been following this story since it happened there, and I'm going to put up a lower third for you, a banner for you, and you can take a look at that video. So the head of the NTSB is promising to leave no stone unturned in this case here as the investigation gets underway in this fatal collision that happened on Sunday. And again at the LaGuardia Airport. This is in New York City. A crushed Air Canada jet, which you can see there on your screen, both daytime and nighttime video, remains on the runway here. And so it's been about 2 days after this jet collided with a fire truck. We do know that 2 pilots were killed here, and they have been identified as Antoine Forrest and Mackenzie Gunther. And so, our thoughts are with the families of those pilots. You just saw one of them on your screen. We also know that 40 people were hurt in this situation, so dozens hospitalized. Today marks the NTSB's first full day of this investigation. The chair of the NTSB says the plane's cockpit and flight data recorders have been recovered from the wreck. So that's some good news there in this investigation. Both are undamaged and could lead to more clues about what happened here. We also want to warn you, video leading up to this deadly impact is just difficult to watch. We have been playing sound from this as well, and it's all just very difficult to watch this content here. This video shows the plane landing at the airport late Sunday, and it ends right before it slams into the fire truck as the vehicle crosses the runway. In air traffic control audio, it appears the truck was cleared to move, but the controller frantically told it to stop. And again, the 2 young pilots who were killed were both at the start of their aviation careers here, and some passengers credit them for saving their lives. The runway where the crash occurred remains closed still, and it could be shut down for several more days. And so we have heard from several officials on this incident as the investigation continues from FAA and the NTSB, and we're hoping to receive more information on the details of what led up to this horrific crash here at the LaGuardia Airport. Moving forward, guys, let's talk about the peace talks happening in the Middle East and what's going on there. So the U.S., Israel, and Iran continue to trade missile strikes. So we know that those attacks are continuing, even though President Trump says he's optimistic here that he's close to a peace deal with the regime. President Trump says negotiations are underway with Iranians, and he's giving them until the end of the week to agree to stop enriching uranium and reopen the Strait of Hormuz, or military strikes could be more consequential. But Iranian officials deny that these talks are even happening. So they're saying, we don't know what President Trump is talking about. They're saying that they'll fight and continue to fight until they have a complete victory here. This all comes as several U.S. allies in the region seem to be on the verge of joining the war. The Wall Street Journal reports that Saudi Arabia is close to launching strikes, and the UAE is considering its own action. If a deal is reached, though, Trump says the U.S. will take Iran's enriched uranium and possibly share control of the Strait of Hormuz. So again, we'll also update you here on this story as it unfolds. These peace talks reportedly happening. Again, President Trump says that he's optimistic, and he's reporting that these peace talks have been happening where Iranians are denying them. So we'll see what continues to happen, and hope that this hope this war can end soon, and that other, entities, other countries don't get involved with the war as well. Your time is 1:20. Let's go ahead and take a look at our forecast. Our meteorologist, Jonathan Stacy, he's joining us now to talk about this beautiful spring weather. But maybe it's not beautiful to you, right, Jonathan, or to people out there, if that pollen is bothering them.
Pollen is the problem, and it will continue to be so as we go through really the next week, probably couple weeks, because there's no really significant rain chances in the forecast. Those pollen counts today soaring to 5,902. Yesterday we were over 6,000, and I don't see these numbers really going down much even as we get into the week, with some cooler temperatures moving in. Today, noticeably cooler than yesterday. Yesterday, temperatures were like somewhere near 81 degrees, closing in on a high of 81. Well, look what we have right now. We're somewhere on either side of the 50 degree or 60 degree mark. 63 here in Atlanta. Temperatures across the area, once again, on either side of 60 degrees. As you move farther to the north, you'll find more 60s. Down to the south, 60s are starting to pop up as well. But look at Gainesville and Cornelia. You're stuck in the 50s, and we hope that we can possibly crack 60 degrees before the day's all said and done. 64 degrees as we take a peek out the window right now. The sunshine is so inviting. It looks like yesterday. You want to go outside and enjoy what is a very nice warm day. Well, not so much. Pump your brakes. You'll step outside and you may be shoved along by a wind, especially with winds still pulling in out of the east. They're now in the single digit categories, but there could be gusts that could still pipe up to 20-25 miles an hour as we get deeper into the evening. The air is bone dry. That's why you're having a harder time finding clouds in the sky. Clouds are going to make a comeback though. You can see here there's a dismissal of the clouds through the late afternoon. And then, another band rolls back in, and maybe a spritz or a sprinkle possible on either side of 75, 20, even 85, mainly to the east of town as we go through the overnight hours. Tomorrow morning, kind of a chilly start with temperatures in the 40s for this time of the year. That's seasonable, but it is a departure from what we've had over the past 5 days or so. So a cooler start to the morning. A passing shower can't be ruled out, but I think it will be a really, really rogue opportunity if we got some. By 4 o'clock, temperatures just struggling to even reach to 60 degrees. I think we'll get there and we'll exceed it by a couple degrees, but not an outright sunny, warm day at all. In fact, the clouds will dominate the sky. Still dealing with some clouds hanging around as early as Thursday morning, but I'm not too concerned at least with the hope of hitting 80 degrees. We'll be on record watch for Friday. 84 possible. 86, that's the current record. Will we get there? Will we not? We'll just have to see how the atmosphere works. It's going to all be dependent on the cloud cover and the wind profile as a front comes through the area. The front won't bring any rain to our neck of the woods, maybe our state line counties of Tennessee and North Carolina. But for the metro area, it's just going to be a passage of clouds and winds eventually coming in out of the north and west. And that's what's going to pull down those temperatures for Saturday and Sunday. We'll be in the 60s once more after 2 days in the 80s, Thursday and Friday, back to the 60s for Saturday, Sunday. Jasmine?
All right, Jonathan, thanks so much for joining the stream here to talk about the weather. Guys, your time is 1:23. When we return, we'll speak with an expert on the travel frustrations happening at the Atlanta airport amid the DHS shutdown and the TSA staffing shortages. Welcome back, guys. TSA shortages are raising some staffing concerns at the Atlanta airport. Some airports are now relying reportedly on untrained federal personnel there to fill the gaps, raising new concerns about safety and efficiency during this partial government shutdown. And for travelers here in Atlanta, alternatives are limited. So joining us now is the Goizeta Business School professor, Ram Chalapa. He has been closely following the airline industry for a while now. Professor Chalapa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
So we are hearing that, federal agents are stepping in to help with the staffing shortages at the airport. What concerns does that raise from a security standpoint?
Well, I guess we have to remember why we have the TSA in place. This was post 9/11, Department of Homeland Security. We had established some processes in terms of how we should allow passengers inside the airport and onto the plane. And so we have a series of checks, including, the ID check, as well as the TSA agents are trained in looking at your baggage, making some decisions about which ones need to be revisited, looking for explosive residues and so on. So I think anytime we have these processes handled by people who are not exactly trained for those is certainly of concern.
Now, the federal government often steps in during airline disruptions. Can you talk about what has happened in the past and how is it different from now?
Well, I guess if we think about the process of checking in, certainly there are two elements. One is the need to have a body that might, lend comfort to passengers, that there is somebody in charge, and perhaps even checking of ID. And so those are things that certainly any law enforcement type agent can provide assistance on. Where we might be lacking is the ability to actually look through baggage and make second kind of decisions around that. So I think when we do a one-to-one kind of substitution staffing, which is really about a substitution for basic law enforcement type situations, I think this would be useful, but here we have some extra duties as well.
And now, Professor, going back to having untrained personnel filling these TSA roles, how unusual is this? Can you explain that a little more? And then could this just impact traveler safety overall, or is it more about perception?
I mean, at this time, travel is an essential service. It's not really a luxury or a choice or an option for many. So from that point of view, the need to spend a lot more time at the airport, arriving at the airport, perhaps missing, certain connections because of how planes take off. Those things essentially are affecting the average citizen, the average traveler. And these things obviously can have cascading effects because not everybody can make a decision about postponing their travel or perhaps taking Uber. And as we know in our country, alternate forms of public transportations are also few and far in between. Perhaps in the Northeast, we have the option of trains. That may not be true all over the country. And certainly taking an Uber or a Lyft, a ride-sharing app to travel for 4 hours may not really be an option for all passengers. So overall, a disruption in the lives of an average traveler, average citizen. And in terms of security, I think the reason we are taking so much time is I hope and I think that we are maintaining the required security in terms of entering the airport and so on, except we are doing so with far fewer resources than what is typically necessary.
Now, I have one last question for you. For travelers here in Atlanta, what are some additional realistic options that they have?
I think this is not a great time to do non-essential travel. So I think travel ought to be limited to essential travel if you're a passenger, and really arrive early and bring with you a lot of patience along with your baggage.
Professor Chalapa, thank you so much for joining us and talking about the security concerns surrounding the staffing shortages at the airport. I know this is a big topic across the nation. This shutdown affecting TSA workers there, with them working without pay. So thank you so much for joining us to discuss this situation.
Thank you so much.
Guys, still to come, unbelievable video of a boa constrictor slithering around a busy area in Atlanta. Ew, that sounds so gross, but you don't want to miss the story. We'll have it when we return. All right, guys, a fun event happening soon in the Atlanta area. The Delta Flight Museum hosting the Night of the Museum, Meet the Airplane. That's next Tuesday, and it features iconic aircrafts and the people who helped to make them fly. So Fox 5's Paul Milliken has a look at this story.
Well, hello, everybody, from on board the Spirit of Delta. This is a really important plane within the family of Delta Airlines because it was purchased for the company by its employees. It's a really incredible story, and one you'll hear more about coming up next Tuesday at the Night at the Museum Meet the Plane event. A very cool event where you come through, you look at the airplanes, and you talk to people who worked on them, whether they designed them, helped build them, or literally worked on board, like Diane Carvelli, who flew as a flight attendant for nearly 40 years. How many years was it?
About 37.
About 37 years.
37.
Amazing. It's so great to see you, Diane. Thank you for stopping by the museum. And let's talk about this plane again. So this is the Spirit of Delta. This came about because the airline industry went through a really challenging time. Talk a little bit about what was going on back then and what led to this airplane.
There was fuel shortage.
Yeah.
Airlines were laying off people. And Delta ended up giving us a raise, even with everything that was going on.
Right.
Delta protects their employees, and they didn't want to lay us off. They wanted to let us know that we were going to be okay. The airline's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So they gave us a raise, and we were all just totally amazed.
Yeah.
We had no idea they were going to do that.
Wow.
But just to show appreciation. All employees everybody was talking about it,
Yeah.
and we should do something for Delta.
Right.
And just in hearing all the talking, we thought, well, let's I don't even know where it came from. Let's buy an airplane.
Well, that's the thing, Diane. I mean, you could have just written thank you notes, but you decided we're going to buy the company an airplane. And to do that, you needed to get the involvement of the entire company, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we sent out a teletype. The phone was ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
People wanting to get involved. We had a committee in Atlanta, a committee of 12 people that were from all different areas of the airline. And so we were the core committee right here in Atlanta. The stations outside of Atlanta, they formed their own committees. Everybody took ownership of this.
Yeah.
And everybody that was sharing their ideas. So it was definitely a true Delta family project.
Did it surprise you the way that people just jumped right in and jumped on board?
Loving this airline the way I do and the way Jenny and Jean did and all of these other people did, it really didn't surprise me. We were not, maybe we were naive, I don't know, but we just had such positive attitudes and everybody we met was positive. Our flying colonels wanted to be involved. It grew into being just from the Delta employees. It was from, and the Delta family, it was from retirees.
Wow.
It just
the full extended Delta family.
Exactly.
And so what was your vision for the airplane once you bought it? What did you want this to become?
We just knew it was going to be an airplane bought by the Delta employees. And what Delta wanted to do with it, it was their airplane. They could do what they wanted to do. But they wanted to make sure this airplane stayed with the Delta family. Right. So when it came home, when it was retired, it came here. And it's always going to be the spirit of Delta.
Right.
And even the employees today are so proud of this airplane.
Yes.
And they're part of it.
Yeah.
It's just the whole of Delta Airlines. And it's just amazing to have a company like this that has an open door policy. You call everybody by their first name.
Yeah.
Everybody's welcomed everywhere.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I've been retired now for 26 years. And I'm still Delta Airlines.
Right.
I still feel like this is my airline.
Right.
I grew up with Delta Airlines, and
there's such a sense of loyalty amongst the Delta family for sure. And so standing here today with this as part of the museum where every day people can walk in and learn more about the story of Delta Airlines, how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel really happy that maybe what we've done, what the airline did, what our employees did, people see this and they think, what loyalty, what faith, and that maybe, that they have an issue with their company or with something, they could just learn to love their company. And maybe the people that are in charge of these companies can see how our management runs things and take a little...
be a lesson for everyone.
A little lesson for them. I mean, it's just... It's so hard to explain when you're such a dedicated Delta employee. There's just no company like Delta. And our president is just amazing. Our CEO, it's so easy to talk to. Everybody's it's still a Delta family.
Yeah, that's amazing to hear. And it was so great to spend time with you on board the Spirit of Delta. So I'll make my pitch right now, since we're calling you the lead flight attendant of this flight. Am I allowed in first class, or do I have to stay back here?
No.
Thank you.
We're going to upgrade you, Paul.
See, this is what I wanted to hear all day. Diane, great to see you.
You too. Thank you so much.
And again, this is the Spirit of Delta at the Delta Flight Museum.
All right, guys, sounds like a fun event there with Paul Milliken. Your time is 1:40. Up next, how AI can be a useful resource to teenagers with the proper safety measures in place. We'll have details when we return. Welcome back to Fox 5 News Live, guys. We're monitoring breaking news out of Cobb County. Student now in custody after a firearm was found on campus at Hillgrove High School. Our Tyler Fingert is out there in Powder Springs. And Tyler, what have you found out there on the ground?
Well, a massive police response here today at Hillgrove High School, obviously in Cobb County. Take a look. You can see a massive line of parents coming through here now to pick up their kids after a very scary day here on campus. We know that earlier today, Hillgrove High School was placed on a code red lockdown after officials say a firearm was detected on campus. District of Police say they responded immediately, and according to the information we have received, from the moment they found the gun to the lockdown to the student being taken into custody, they say all of this happened in just 12 minutes. A 15-year-old student is now in custody and the firearm has been recovered. They say obviously they are grateful for the swift action of the police department here to be able to respond so quickly and take this so seriously. We know, according to students and parents, they have told me that there are no metal detectors at this school. One parent said he is adamant that they need to add metal detectors because stuff like this should not happen. Another parent said that they felt that this is something that was just obviously very scary and traumatic, but it just gives them pause to add metal detectors. But they say stuff like this makes it necessary to make sure students are protected. We don't know a whole lot about the situation, but students say it was incredibly scary. One said they were over on their third period class out on the football field during PE. They heard about the code red lockdown. They practiced it before. They immediately did what they were supposed to do. They got down, they sheltered in place, and they said it was just obviously very scary, very surreal to have something like this happen. A normal school day interrupted by someone allegedly bringing a gun onto campus. And now we know that the school is back open, but parents have been coming out here for the last several hours to pick up their kids, probably about the last 2 hours or so. There was a line out here. One person said at about 11:15 or so is when they got the initial call from their kid that there was an issue on campus, and they said that they immediately jumped into their car and had to come here. We heard that over and over from 2 or 3 parents just about how scary something like this is. You can see as we zoom in now into the front of the school, we're obviously off property, which is required for the Cobb County schools, but you can see a number of people, it looks like parents, just standing in line waiting to pick up their children to take them home after this very traumatic afternoon here and beginning of the school day. We know obviously this brings back fresh memories for many people. We know just back in 2024 in Barrow County, which is just about an hour and 15 minutes from here, the shooting at Appalachia High School, and parents say that obviously they hope something like this never happens. And one parent told us that they would love to see metal detectors on campus because stuff like that would hopefully prevent something like this. A student apparently, a 15-year-old student apparently bringing a gun onto campus here. Thankfully, we do know that it does not appear anyone was injured and the weapon never went off, but obviously for parents, a very close call, and they're just thankful that the Cobb County Schools Police Department rushed here along with the Cobb County Police Department to be able to get a handle on this situation. We're live in Cobb County this afternoon. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
Tyler, thank you so much for joining us to give us an update on the situation here. We know that you'll continue to gather news there out at Hillgrove High School and bring us the latest. Guys, again, that is just an update there from Tyler Fingert on this breaking situation out in Powder Springs, Georgia at Hillgrove High School. A student now in custody after school officials that is found them with a firearm. And that was on campus. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. For now, let's talk about artificial intelligence and teens. Artificial intelligence is becoming a part of our everyday lives, guys, and especially for teens who want help with their homework and who need some ways to make their assignments creative. But many parents are wondering how to make sure it's used safely. And so this morning we're talking about how families can help teens use AI tools like ChatGPT responsibly and with the right safeguards in place. Joining us now is ChatGPT power user and mom, Megan Murphy. Everybody's talking about it, Megan, and a lot of people are using it. So tell us, when it comes to kids, families and parents, what should they understand about the teens' use of AI?
Yeah. So this is really important. I'm using ChatGPT, my husband's using ChatGPT, but more importantly, my teenagers and all of their friends are using ChatGPT. AI is already a part of everyday teen life. You know, the same way the internet and smartphones came on the scene, AI is here and it's here to stay, and our teenagers are using it. They're using it for a number of different things, everything from homework help to brainstorming creative projects. You know, I'm seeing my teens and, you know, their friends using it for so many different things. My daughter just used it to plan a study schedule for her midterms. My 14-year-old son developed a push-up program to get strong for spring lacrosse. So teenagers are using it, and I want parents to feel assured that there are ways that we can really manage and safeguard this experience.
It's very important to know how to safeguard our information. There's many privacy concerns surrounding AI and just ChatGPT as well. What safety precautions are already in place?
So safety is super important. And for younger users, there are a number of precautions and safety features in place. So they're going to have reduced exposure to mature content, to risky online trends, or to extreme beauty ideals. And there's something that many parents don't know about, and that's parental controls. So as a parent, I can link my teens' accounts to my account so that I can manage the experience. I can set time limits. I can set quiet hours so that they can't use it during school or they can't use it at nighttime. I can turn off features that I don't think that maybe they're mature enough for. I can turn off memory, for instance. So there's a lot that parents can do with these parental controls.
Well, thanks for sharing. This is news to me. I didn't know that parents could do this. Can you talk a little bit about, it's one of those controls that you mentioned, memory. So, you know, does ChatGPT really erase the items or, you know, not remember the items that you set that feature on?
So this is really important for teenagers. So if you go into the parental controls and you link your teenager's account, you can absolutely turn memory off so that there's no history of what they're asking and those conversations. You can also turn off features that they may not be mature enough for. So you can turn off image generation, you can turn off voice mode, and you, more importantly, can set all of those time restrictions so that there's limited use of the ChatGPT tool.
Thanks for sharing. Now, how can ChatGPT help teens learn and build confidence, self-confidence, and just confidence in their work in general? Because we want them to, you know, not rely solely on ChatGPT, but just use it to help them.
So I think it's super important for parents to be having conversations with their teenagers about responsible AI use. That is incredibly important. That said, I have seen it as a wonderful study tool in my house. So ChatGPT has a function called study mode, which really changes the narrative from give me the answer to show me how you got that answer. Coach me through the thinking, show me the steps. And it's being used in my children's schools. I mean, my daughter is a sophomore in high school. The chemistry teacher said, you've been taking copious notes all semester. Now take those notes, put them in ChatGPT, and generate practice tests and study guides. And that's exactly what my daughter did. She has an A+ in chemistry. Now, I was a theater major. I absolutely have no idea how to help her study for her chemistry exam. And she has an A+ in chemistry. So there are some really incredible study tools associated with ChatGPT, and it's a great resource.
Thanks so much for sharing. That is a great tool to use and a great way to use ChatGPT there, grabbing your notes and putting them into ChatGPT and asking it to make a test for you, make quizzes. You said you were a theater major. I laughed because I have a degree in theater as well. So we have some similarities.
So my teenager's homework is like beyond me. You know, I have no idea to help with the algebra, the chemistry, any of it. But ChatGPT has become like my buddy because I'm like, okay, let's look at those class notes. Let's put them into ChatGPT. And then my kids still have to do the work. They have to do the practice exams. They have to put in the time. But it's a really valuable resource to make that process smoother and more efficient.
Megan, thank you so much for sharing this information here today. Where can someone interested find more information?
So if you go to chatgpt.com/parents, parent-resources. This is the Parent Information Hub, and I urge anyone with teenagers to go there, because if you're nervous about AI or you don't really know how it works or how your teens are using it, go there, learn about it, and then empower yourself to set these parental controls and really participate in the AI experience with your teenagers.
Good information for you all out there as we continue to navigate artificial intelligence. So some important information for teens and parents with kids. Guys, let's move on to Brookhaven. There's an event there. Sounds like a very fun event, a culinary experience coming to Brookhaven, and it's all for a great cause. The Navigate Passport event brings top chefs together for an intimate tasting fundraiser to help students. So our Chris Rosenthal is there with a preview of how this event is changing lives through food. Hey there, Chris.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, just in a few hours, this ballroom here, this is the Carlos Ballroom here and the near the Greek Church off of Claremont Road, 2500 Claremont Road. In just a few hours, this place is going to be packed full of diners here supporting this cause with the Navigate Foundation. And they are getting things all set up here. And I got Chef Mimi and Chef Lynn here with the Navigate Foundation. They've been blowing up balloons and getting the decorations ready. This starts about 6 o'clock tonight, so you got a little bit of time. But first of all, tell me, Chef Lynn, tell me a little bit about the Navigate Foundation. What is this about?
So we are a nonprofit workforce development program. We serve youth ages 17 to 24, and we help them develop their careers into culinary arts. So we place them into culinary pre-apprenticeships, and then they also have the opportunity to go into an apprenticeship afterwards and receive their culinary credentials through ACF.
And this is a really good
love into the food, and so it's definitely demanding career for our culinary future.
And tonight, having a fundraiser for this here. And tell me, first of all, where do these funds go? What is this all about?
Well, tonight we are having a wonderful fundraiser to support 6 culinary and hospitality enthusiasts to travel to Switzerland this summer.
And what will they be getting out of that experience?
We are going to partner with the Culinary Institute of Switzerland, and they're going to spend a whole week learning about world cuisine, chocolate and pastry, international cuisine. We're going to take a tour of a Compass site while we're over there. It's going to be a really wonderful experience for them.
It means a lot to them. Huh?
It means a lot to them, yes.
And for people who want to come out and support tonight, tell me about what can we expect? What's this room going to be like?
Well, it's going to be very lively. We're going to have a live DJ Rasta. He's going to be here. We're also going to have 10 action stations where our culinary ambassadors and 3 of the students traveling to Switzerland will be paired with professional chefs in the Atlanta area. So we're going to have 10 tasting stations with different types of cuisines. We're going to have some spirits. It's going to be a really wonderful time. An auction. We're going to have a good party.
And tickets are still available? How much?
Yeah, tickets are still available. They are $75, which is a steal to eat and drink and just, rub elbows with just the hospitality and culinary enthusiasts of the future. And you can get our tickets off of Instagram at the Navigate Foundation and also on our website.
All right, wonderful. And that is coming up here tonight. That is, again, this room will be filled up 6 o'clock, 2500 Claremont Road. Back to you guys.
All right, Chris, that is pretty cool there. A culinary event opening the doors for students to travel abroad. I'm looking forward to seeing this event happen and, and learning more about how this helps the students study abroad. Thanks, Chris, for joining us to talk about this wonderful experience here. Guys, we have another light story, very interesting one. Before we go on to the next streaming hour at 2 p.m., a boa constrictor. Take a look at that lovely animal there. Guys, actually, I've held snakes before in my life, so they don't really scare me as much as they do like the typical person. But this friend right here was taken from the Beltline. Thanks to Joseph Ragland for sharing it on Instagram. He says he and some friends had been out there when they were leaving. They saw a group of people huddled around, and they found this 8 to 10 feet long. That would scare some of you all. A very brave man pulled it from the greenery and laid it out for all to see, which is Pretty interesting there. Again, guys, this doesn't typically scare me. I've held snakes before in the past. Now, I wouldn't be this guy right here, but I would not be scared there of the boa. But your time is 1:58. We're going to go ahead and head to break, and when we return, our news will continue.
Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. It's great to see you. We've got a lot of news to get to. We're going to talk about the latest happening here locally. We're also going to talk about what's happening on Capitol Hill as the new Secretary of Homeland Security is supposed to be sworn in this afternoon, and as the NTSB is set to hold an update at any minute regarding that deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport. But first, let's start closer to home because we're learning that Hillgrove School actually went on lockdown and issued a code red. Our Tyler Finger rushed out to try to figure out what was going on at the school. Tyler, what are you learning this afternoon?
Well, a massive police response to Hillgrove High School in Cobb County today after a gun was detected on campus, according to officials. We are in Cobb County, and if you take a look, you can see a number of vehicles here on the main road right in front of the school, which is Luther Ward Road. There are just so many parents who are waiting in line to pick up their children after a very scary morning here on campus that bled into the afternoon. Here's what we know. According to school district officials, Hillgrove High School was placed on a code red lockdown after a firearm was detected on campus. District police responded immediately, they say, and the situation, they say, from detection to lockdown to the student being taken into custody, all happened in approximately 12 minutes. So from the time a gun was detected on campus to the time they took the student into custody, just 12 minutes. Officials clearly happy with that response, being able to get the situation under control incredibly quickly. We know a 15-year-old student is now in custody and the firearm has been recovered. They say, quote, "We are grateful for the swift action of our police department and there is no active threat and teaching and learning have resumed." And while students are back to learning here at Hillgrove High School, you can tell a number of parents have been coming throughout over the last maybe about hour and a half or so to pick up their children after that all clear was given. I spoke to one woman earlier who told me that she was working from home. She got a text message from her son who said that there was a code red at the school, and immediately she jumped in her car, ran over here to be able to get him as quickly as possible, knowing that this was an incredibly scary situation for him, but also unknown for her about what was exactly happening. That student told us that basically they immediately went into that code red lockdown, which they had practiced before, and immediately tried to make sure that they could get a handle on the situation, and they said that they were kept safe and they're very grateful for that. That's what we heard from two different students. I'm not sure if we have it. I was able to just talk to one of those students a little bit ago. I want to play you a portion of what he told me.
My third block class, we were outside in the football field doing our PE stuff, and then the code red went off, but we didn't really know. We just saw kids running out the building. We saw the police pull up, and then we all ran straight to the football locker room, and that's where we stayed.
And then what happened after that?
We just sat there and waited. Everyone was scared. I was scared, and then we finally got the code green, and we just sat there until we got the all clear to move out.
Yeah, that's exactly how that all unfolded. They said that they were in that code red for a decent period of time before they did get that all clear. Obviously, that mom is incredibly grateful that her son was unharmed, no serious issues beyond that student being taken into custody, that 15-year-old student for bringing a gun on campus. We don't have a whole lot of details about that student or the motivation of why that gun was brought onto the school campus, but we obviously do know that parents are asking questions right now, including the fact that according to two different parents and according to some of the students, there's no weapon detection system here on campus, and they would like to see that change. They want to see that be added for the safety. They say the money would be well worth it for the peace of mind that they know that their child would be all right. We also did hear from another parent who made a comment, and I thought it was an interesting comment. We know that the state legislature had just approved banning cell phones in high schools. She said that she is not for that, and this is the exact reason why she got notified immediately from her child that there was a problem on campus, and she was able to rush to school. And so she's not really happy that got passed. And so she's advocating that because of situations like this, students should be allowed to have their phones on campus to be able to reach their parents. But obviously, you know, the critics say that things like that are necessary, Ariel, to continue the learning process. But in this day and age, communication is everything. And that for that mom, she said she would really like to be able to keep that communication because of situations like this.
Tyler, really insightful to think that this situation is exactly what the critics of that legislation have raised. Interesting to see how it might affect situations going forward. I'd like to clarify one point, just because I know there's a lot of questions. That firearm was brought to campus, but it was never actually discharged. Is that what I heard you confirm correctly?
Yeah, so the district did not tell us that part. We have heard from a number of sources and different students and parents that no firearm ever went off on campus. So that would be correct. It was brought onto campus, but it apparently never actually went off.
Okay, good to know. And then, Tyler, also one thing I'm just going to point out here behind you, seeing all of those cars, seeing those parents and everybody standing outside the school, you can only imagine how they're feeling. So definitely something that we'll continue to keep you guys updated on. Tyler, I know you've reported a lot in the wake of the Appalachia High School shooting on how different districts here within the metro area have gotten weapons detection systems. So will be interesting to see if that is something that Cobb County could consider. So Tyler, I'll let you get back to information gathering, all things to think about as we continue to navigate this situation. So thank you for your reporting. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, we're going to switch gears here briefly because I just got word that President Trump is speaking. And as we know, the swearing-in ceremony for Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin is about to begin. He was just confirmed by the Senate yesterday as the new Secretary for the Department of Homeland Security. Let's go ahead and listen in together.
I won't wrestle him for anything. An all-American wrestler, huh? Good. You have good genetics in that family. Proud of you. Thanks as well to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Chairman Jason Smith, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, and many other friends that are gathered with us. It's a great group of people. For 13 years, Markwayne has represented the incredible state of Oklahoma, a state that I won 77 out of 77 counties 3 times in a row, so they like me there. Second was Ronald Reagan at 56. Did you know that? 56, that's not bad. But 77, it's 77 out of 77, I think, right? That's not bad. But he was there in Congress as a member of the House and then as an outstanding United States Senator, and he really has been outstanding. He's been a close and vital partner in helping us secure the border, stop migrant crime, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again and make America great again. And he's a tremendous player. He worked with Tom Homan, worked with all of our people on the right, and many more. And everything he's done has been good. I say everything he touched, he's turned to gold. Now, but even in business, he was successful, in all fairness. And he was successful, and he said, I want to go into politics. I hope you're happy. But as the only Native American, I didn't know that, huh? Let me look at you. Well, I think that's all right. He's got great quality, I can tell you. He's the only Native American in the Senate. How many have been there before you? Do you know? Native American?
I think 3.
3. Well, you're a fantastic representative. Markwayne has also been a fantastic advocate for our cherished tribal communities. He's now the first member of the Cherokee Nation ever to serve as a member of the cabinet. I didn't know all these things. I would have picked him faster if I had known. I would have made a quicker decision. Prior to his career in public service, Markwayne had a very successful career in business, leaving school at age 20 after his father got sick, taking over his family business and turning it into a multi-million-dollar success story. He's a very successful guy. Markwayne has also a career as an MMA fighter. That's why I looked at his ears and I said, I'm not going to fight with him. You can tell a lot about a person by their ears, right? During which he went totally undefeated. He was undefeated during his career, and he's been inducted into the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the family is made of fantastic wrestlers, especially that guy right there. That's my favorite guy, huh? And suffered bad injury and come back stronger than ever, I think. So good to have you, man, right? I have no doubt that as he takes the helm of DHS, Markwayne will fight for Homeland Security, the United States, and securing the country and making it really strong. And the way it should be. Our country's come a long way in the last year. We set it up so beautifully, and then we had 4 years of horror. We had 4 years of disgusting horror, open borders, and things that nobody would even think of. You wouldn't even think of. 25 million people poured into our country, and we've gotten a lot of them out, but we have a lot more to go. We have 11,888 murderers came into our country. People came in from all over the world, from prisons and gangs, gang members, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, insane asylums. That's the mental institution times 2. And what they allowed to happen to our country can never be allowed to happen again, and it won't. With Mark Wayne, we have somebody that's strong, professional, and fair. As you know, the department that Mark Wayne takes over today is currently shut down by radical left Democrat thugs
so you're listening
in Congress.
To President Trump as he speaks at the swearing-in ceremony for Oklahoma Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, who now become the Secretary of the Department of Homeland Security. And the president was just beginning to speak about the current partial government shutdown that's affecting the Department of Homeland Security and all of the TSA agents that work there, as well as the Coast Guard, Secret Service, and FEMA. But we're really feeling the effects from the TSA agents not being paid, especially at airports around the country and right here in Atlanta. Our Ray Urena is out live at Atlanta's Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, where we're learning a little bit more about how the conditions are faring there. Ray, what are you seeing today with the lines? I know ICE has been deployed to the airport, and we're continuing to monitor that. And also hearing you might have information about TSA agents' call-out rates. What are you learning this afternoon?
Yeah, Ariel, I just want to point you to the line because we just talked to the steward of the local TSA union not too long ago. And he says what these lines are that you're seeing right behind us are what you would normally expect. And airport officials are not showing an estimated wait time, but they are advising people to get here at least 4 hours before their flight. The long lines returned to Hartsfield-Jackson during the morning rush on Tuesday, and TSA says 37.4% of workers at the Atlanta airport called out on Monday and just under 11% nationwide. Passengers continue to see ICE and Homeland Security agents walking around the terminal, but the TSA union says they are not trained to check people through security. Meanwhile, Delta Airlines has temporarily suspended allowing members of Congress to bypass TSA lines as the partial government shutdown continues. The TSA union says workers are doing the best they can with the resources they have, but they are urging a deal to be done soon.
When we had the first shutdown, so certainly people are coming in, but again, they want to come in, they want to do their job. There's so many different things in their minds. They're frustrated because they don't know how they're going to pay the bills, how they're going to put food on the table. So there's so many different elements, but they feel that we've been let down, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from what we're going through right now.
Passengers that we've spoken to, Ariel, say that they've been showing up hours earlier than normal for their flights just due to how unpredictable the lines at Hartsfield-Jackson have been in the last few days. And they say that alone has added some extra frustration to their airport experience over the past couple of days.
Well, Ray, thanks for letting us know where things stand. It is nice to see that people are able to walk in behind you and not have to be lined up around the airport. This is something we'll continue to monitor. It's an ongoing and fluid situation. One thing I'm curious about, Ray, I know you've been at the airport a bit. Do you see it ebb and flow, like different times in the afternoon might be a little easier than, say, the early morning hours?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's kind of what we talked about if you're watching us at noon, is that the lines have been ebbing and flowing. Usually in the morning rush, you'll get a ton of people through there. And then as the afternoon goes through, like about 2 of this time yesterday, if you remember, Ariel, there's that line started to die down. And by the late afternoon, it was a night and day difference compared to what we saw in the morning. But the TSA union also says that they expect that traffic to pick up again starting Thursday and going into the weekend. So if there's a deal that's not reached and we're still seeing kind of the same call-out rates, then the TSA union says we might see similar lines to what we saw this past weekend.
Ray, thank you for letting us know where things stand. Appreciate your reporting. I'll let you get back to it here this afternoon. We'll see you again later this evening. as we continue here at 2, I'd like to continue keeping you updated here really briefly on some things that are going on. We're going to hop, skip, and jump around here just a little bit because I can see we have a live update from the NTSB happening regarding that deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport. So let's go ahead and listen into what leaders are saying there.
That radio transmission. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 19 seconds, an electronic 100 enhanced ground proximity warning system callout occurred. At 17 seconds, Truck 1 read back the runway crossing clearance. At 14 seconds, an electron, and at that same time, the tower instructed a Frontier Airlines flight to hold position. At 11 seconds, an electronic 20 call out occurred, and at 10 seconds, an electronic 10 call out occurred. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 8 seconds, there was a sound consistent with the airplane's landing gear touching down on the runway. At 6 seconds, there was a pilot transfer of controls from one pilot to the other. And at 4 seconds, the tower again instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 0 seconds, the recording ended. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Mr. Brazy had mentioned that 6 seconds before the end of the recording, the pilot transferred controls. We do know that the first officer was flying and transferred control to the captain. With respect to aircraft rescue and firefighting operations, we will be developing a timeline of events. We do know that they were responding to a United Airlines flight 2384 at the gate, which had 2 aborted takeoffs, and the ARF, or the Aircraft Rescue and Firefighters, had received information that there were fumes or smoke or some sort of smell in the cabin, so they were en route to address that. Truck 1, which Mr. Brazy had mentioned, had collided with the aircraft. We do know that there were other vehicles behind Truck 1, which did not begin to cross the runway. We have seen varying information about how many vehicles, so we need to verify that information, and we'll provide it at a later time. Truck 1, however, did not have a transponder. With respect to air traffic control, we have seen different information about how many certified professional controllers were in the facility, and we need to verify that starting with interviews this afternoon. We'll begin to interview the local controller at 4 o'clock this afternoon. We do have logs, but there's also conflicting information, including dates and times on the logs. So now we have to go through that and rectify some of those inconsistencies. We do, however, know that there were 2 people in the cab, 2 people in the tower cab at the time of collision, the local controller and the controller in charge. Again, local controller and controller in charge. For those who may be watching and aren't familiar with aviation, the local controller manages active runways and the immediate airspace surrounding the airport. That local controller had signed on at 10:45, and the shift would have ended at 6:45 a.m. That doesn't mean that he was in position at 10:45, but that he had just signed in at 10:45 p.m. The controller in charge is responsible for safety of operations, all safety of operations. He had clocked in or signed in at 10:30 p.m. And that shift would have ended at 6:30 a.m. Again, that was signing in at 10:30 p.m. The controller in charge was also doing the duties of the clearance delivery position. The clearance delivery controller provides pilots with their departure clearance. It is not clear who was conducting the duties of the ground controller. We have conflicting information. We have some information saying it was the controller in charge. We have some information saying it was the local controller. The ground controller duties are that they manage all aircraft and vehicle movements on the taxiways, and that generally excludes active runways. So these two positions were combined into two positions. And what we do know is that that is in the standard operating procedures for LaGuardia. It's for the midnight shift. It's also common practice across the national airspace where you would have two controllers in the tower cab during the midnight shift. The midnight shift, as a reminder, is one that we have many times at the NTSB raised concerns about with respect to fatigue. Again, I do not know. We have no indication that was a factor here, but it is a shift that we have been focused on in past investigations. Now, we also know, as I had mentioned yesterday, that LaGuardia has ASDX. ASDX is a runway safety system which allows air traffic controllers to track surface movement of aircraft and vehicles. Yesterday, I mentioned that we requested from FAA the ASD replay of the event. That is a replay of the display of information that would have been available in the tower cab. We also asked the tech center for the analysis of ASD. Their analysis shows that the ASDX system did not alert. The analysis, and I'm going to quote the analysis here. I will repeat it a second time. ASDX did not generate an alert due to the close proximity of vehicles merging and unmerging near the runway, resulting in the inability to create a track of high confidence. Again, the analysis is, quote, ASDX did not generate an alert due to the close proximity of vehicles merging and unmerging near the runway, resulting in the inability to create a track of high confidence. Now, I saw the replay, and there were two targets, so radar, because there's no transponder, you have radar. So two targets with radar returns on taxiway Delta. What it looks like on a replay are two blobs on taxiway Delta. We also don't see any of them go in front of the plane.
You're listening in to Chairwoman Jennifer Homendy from the NTSB as she updates on the latest information regarding this deadly crash at LaGuardia Airport. And I see some of you here on TikTok, YouTube chiming in and talking about how you don't feel there were enough air traffic controllers there in the tower, saying two people's not nearly enough. And you heard her say that the midnight shift, they're going to be looking into staffing and what exactly played out here. To give you a bit of some backstory here with this, in case you guys are unfamiliar or just need to be caught up to speed, we know that this investigation could take upwards of a month or longer. We have seen this crushed Air Canada jet. They're still on the runway 2 days after it collided with a fire truck. Two young pilots were killed, both at the start of their aviation careers. They've been identified as Antoine Forrest and Mackenzie Gunther. And a flight attendant, Solange Tremblay, was ejected from the plane from her seat, but she survived along with 40 others who were also hurt. we also have video leading up to that crash, and watching that deadly impact is difficult to see. We saw a plane landing at the airport late Sunday and ending right before it slams into the truck as that vehicle crossed the runway. I'm not sure if we have any video from the incident here in our player, but we'll continue to bring that to you as we keep you updated here. And air traffic control audio, it does appear the truck was cleared to move before the controller frantically told it to stop. Today is the first full day of the NTSB's investigation, and part of the reason for that is because it took a while for all of the investigators from the NTSB to get out to the crash. Because of the shutdown, partial government shutdown, a lot of the NTSB's investigators were delayed trying to get through long security lines in airports like Houston. We heard that update from officials yesterday. So as we take a look at this, they're going to be looking at the cockpit and flight data recorders. Both have been recovered from the wreck. They're not damaged and could lead to more clues about what happened. Some passengers are thanking the pilots for saving their lives. And this, of course, as that runway is still closed and could be for several more days. So we'll continue to keep you updated as this situation unfolds. Really quickly, as we continue to talk all things aviation and we talk about what unfolded here, within our airports. We were talking a little bit about the Department of Homeland Security and the funding lapse, and now a major airline is taking some consequences as a result of this shutdown. So Delta Airlines is suspending perks for members of Congress amid the ongoing partial government shutdown. Specifically, it's no longer going to allow members of Congress to skip TSA lines. A spokesperson tells us that it suspended specialty services for members of Congress, including airport escorts that would allow them to bypass the public and skip the TSA line, as well as red coat services. So Delta says this is a result of the government shutdown because their focus is taking care of their customers. That is their priority, and this is, quote, become increasingly difficult in the current environment, end quote. So members of Congress will now be treated as any other passenger based on their respective Sky Miles tier, and not as a member of Congress. So we'll continue to keep you updated on this ongoing situation. As we continue here, we're going to get to meteorologist Jonathan Stacy, and let you know what to expect with your weather forecast. That is coming up next. Welcome in, you guys. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here on your Tuesday afternoon. If you've stepped outside, it feels a little bit cooler than it has the past couple of days, as promised from the Fox 5 Storm Team. So let's get out to meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. Jonathan, I swear my brain is mush. I do know your name.
Ariel.
The shade.
Ariel.
Tears, Jonathan. Tears. I'll make it up to you. I do know your name.
Okay. We've been separated. I can't wait till we're joined back together again.
This is true.
Maybe that will make it better. But
That's
it's
right.
chilly. We need to be close together because it's chilly inside the building and outside the building, especially coming off the highs of 80+ degree temperatures over the weekend. We're having a midweek dip. This midweek cool down is not just for North Georgia, but it's for the entire East Coast, from New England all the way to the west, into the Great Lakes, the Midwest, and then you can see down to the Deep South. We're all digging in on that cool pocket of air. Now, despite the temperatures going down, the pollen counts are not dropping dramatically. So on warmer days, the pollen is more proliferous, if you will. It flies, the air is much more buoyant, so it sticks around and stays in the air. The air is much denser on a colder day, so it, whatever's there just kind of drops. It doesn't hang or is not suspended in the atmosphere. So there's been a slight reduction in the pollen count today over yesterday when we were plus 6,000. But today we're pretty close though, and it is pine, oak, sweet gum, sycamore, birch in terms of trees that are the main pollinators, along with mugwort in terms of weeds. So make sure you take your antihistamines. Pollen people who have problems with pollen or allergy sufferers. We're scanning the skies right now. I like the way things are trending here. Clouds farther down to the south, going out to the east, maybe a random shower or two possible. But as you look up to the north, there's plenty of sunshine breaking out. Can somebody squeeze in a 70-degree temperature? I think not, but we'll see how it works out. 65 from Atlanta going up to Dalton to LJ. Look at these 50s. Yep, that's exactly where we'd expect them to be. I told you it was going to be a wedge-like setup today with winds coming in out of the east, northeast at times. That means our coolest temperatures are right along the Georgia-South Carolina state line and pretty much down to even sometimes Athens, but Gainesville pretty much the prime example of an area that's impacted by the wedge-like setup, and that's where you have temperatures that are still stammering in the 50s at this hour. Winds here at home are coming in out of the east at about 10 miles an hour. We'll continue with that easterly flow throughout the day. Clouds are back and forth in and out. They can't really decide what they want to do, so they come for a second, they leave, then they come back and forth. So 50s overnight, and then those will turn into 40s. Thicker clouds tomorrow morning, still dealing with that very reluctant northeasterly flow. It doesn't want to budge, so we'll have to put up with it once again tomorrow. I think tomorrow will be even cooler than today, so it will likely be our coolest day of the week. That's Wednesday. Maybe a random shower possible, but your rain chances are only at 10%. And then by the end of the day, the flow starts to turn out of the south, and that will work wonders in terms of pushing the mercury into the 70s for Thursday. Look, it's going to happen really quick. I think some neighborhoods going to even sneak in at 80-degree temperature. If you don't do it on Thursday, you have a better opportunity by the time you get to Friday. In fact, we'll be on record watch by Friday. The current record stands at 86 degrees. We're aiming for a high of 84 degrees. A front's going to move through Friday, so there may be some cloud cover that's associated with the front, but I don't see an opportunity for rain or thunderstorms unless you're near our state line counties of Tennessee and North Carolina. That's really for extreme northern Georgia. But the front is going to come through nonetheless, and it's going to rework the atmosphere. And so with a new and colder air mass coming in, cooler I should say, temperatures are going to fall back down, and basically Saturday and Sunday are going to feel very much like today. I don't think we'll have as many clouds, though. I think we'll have sunshine, but just cooler temperatures. And then we're back into the 70s for Monday. Let's put it like this, Ariel, up and down. So 2 days down in the 60s, above average for Thursday and Friday, and then below average for Saturday and Sunday, above average for Monday. So whatever you like, whether you like it spring or whether you like summer, it's all in the forecast. If you like rain, I'm sorry, I don't have any for you.
Jonathan, really interesting to
They
think
cleared
about.
me away.
I know, you keep popping
They
out. I've
made me
noticed
disappear.
this.
Oh, that was Jonathan Forbes.
Yeah, that was Jonathan Forbes.
Look
We
at
don't know
that.
who he is.
Hey, I popped
There
that.
you are. I'm looking at this and I'm like, You know, maybe it would be nice to
Y'all got
have.
jokes. Y'all got jokes about that.
This is too unserious for 2 o'clock. My head hurts. But this is interesting because I will take the cooler temperatures for now. I know that Georgia will have us in the inside of the oven before we know it. So
that is true.
You know, maybe we make the
I guess
most of it.
Yeah, I guess we should, because once the humidity and the heat join forces, I'm PO'd.
Yeah, I'll see you poolside. I won't catch you anywhere else.
You have to know my last name to be poolside.
I do. We'll work on that.
Yeah,
Mr.
Jonathan
Stacy.
Summer.
Stacy.
Yeah,
all right.
of course.
Okay, Jonathan,
Peace
I'll
out.
let you get back to it. All right, guys, let's continue here at 2 o'clock. We've got some other news to get to, because speaking of weather, I want to let you know about what's happening in Hawaii right now, because Hawaii is facing its worst flooding in 20 years. You're taking a look at some of what we're seeing there. And I'd like to discuss what exactly is happening, because there have been more than 200 rescues and thousands of people who've had to evacuate their homes as roads have become overwhelmed. Now, officials are also warning of potential dam failures. This has been caused by torrential rain and really across the island of Oahu. The worst flooding in more than 20 years, specifically hitting over the weekend. Heavy rainfall has caused mudslides, it's littered the road with debris, and it's knocked out power for roughly 2,000 people. Now, some residents in Oahu and Maui were forced to evacuate because of raging waters that quickly swelled and took over their homes, upended cars, and took down trees. Now, the good news here is that no deaths have been reported as of yet. Hopefully that holds true. Some schools and businesses have been closed as search and rescue efforts do continue and communities start that cleanup process. There's at least $1 billion worth of estimated damages because of these storms, so really incredible to think about it. But speaking about incredible damage, let's turn our attention a little closer to home, because the Floyd County Historic Courthouse has been destroyed by a fire. This happened yesterday, and we first brought this here to you live right here on Fox Local. But the 134-year-old Floyd County Courthouse there in Government Plaza is no more. The building's iconic bell tower partially collapsed. Everyone inside had been safely evacuated when this happened, thankfully, and no one's been reported as to being injured by the fire. But let's talk about the effects here, because inside of that courthouse, it was a historic courthouse and a historic landmark. The actual judicial system took place in the courthouse across the street. But this landmark was home to the county's tax assessor and tax commissioner's offices. While most of the records have been converted to digital format, officials there in the county do believe that many paper records were lost. They're working on a place to relocate staff in the current courthouse, which is directly behind that burned building. Incredible video. You could see debris just falling off of the back of that historic courthouse as they tried to get this put out, the flames put out. Wind and the structure's dry wood, which dates back to 1892, were really big obstacles for firefighters as they tried to tackle this. And as a result of the fire, a judicial emergency has been declared in Floyd County. The actual Floyd County Courthouse is closed today because of that fire. All court hearings are canceled and deadlines temporarily suspended. This emergency order ensures access to courts amid the damage, but ultimately officials are really trying to make sure that they can assess what's going on and make sure that people don't try to access court services here as they try to begin this cleanup process. Keep in mind, the actual courthouse that's used in the judicial process is not this historic one. It sits behind the historic Floyd County Courthouse, but it is a situation that officials are trying to begin cleaning up and understanding what's going on as they assess the tax assessor's office and some other things that were housed in this courthouse. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, we've got some other news to get to. We're going to talk a little bit about Supreme Court ballots and some other local headlines that we have on tap that's coming up next. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. Let's talk about some stories that are trending here locally that you guys are reading on fox5atlanta.com and what we're reporting on. So one of the first stories is a Cobb County teacher who was fired for reading a book on gender fluidity to her 5th grade class back in 2023 was fired. And now a Georgia Court of Appeals has upheld her firing. We're talking about Katie Rindell. She was that former Cobb County educator, and the court has affirmed that the school that upheld her decision is justified in that decision. So she was terminated after reading a book called My Shadow is Purple to her class, and she has until April 1st to appeal the court's latest decision. She made national headlines, prompting a hearing before the school board over the decision. And during that hearing, she said out of several options, her 5th grade students chose to read that book that she had picked up at a recent school book fair. In August 2023, when the school board voted to fire her, the decision overrode the recommendation of a panel of 3 retired educators. The panel, after a 2-day hearing, found that she had violated district policies, but said that she should not be fired. So that teacher then later filed a lawsuit against the Cobb County School District, backed by the Georgia Association of Educators. It's unclear whether or not they plan to file an appeal, given that this higher court has upheld the school's ruling. So we'll continue to keep you updated there. I do want to let you know about this story. We don't have video, so bear with me as I tell you what happened, because a lot of you guys are reading this online, and it's a teen has been arrested and charged in connection to an attempted rape in Cherokee County. This unfolded at a Kroger, according to the sheriff's office. A teenager is now in custody, and this happened back at a Kroger bathroom on March 10th. Investigators linked the suspect to the crime after he was initially located as a missing person. The suspect was reportedly found with stolen items before being tied to the assault. But this is a really bizarre case because officials had asked the public to help identify a person caught on security footage in the store and nearby gas stations after in the store after that incident. Now, we here at Fox 5 have not shown that surveillance video because that teen is still being charged as a juvenile, but investigators say they were able to link the two when the teen was reported missing. Deputies found that teen back on Sunday and took him home, and when they found him, they understood he was carrying several bags and found some items inside were reported stolen. This was all at the Macedonia Kroger. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we get any new information on this developing story. But as it relates to a story that we've been following out of DeKalb County, I want to let you know that there are school closings that have been drawing some protesters because we have seen that the DeKalb County School District plans to close 22 schools over the next several years. And it's a proposal that drew around 100 protesters to Lakeside High School yesterday afternoon. DeKalb County is considering closing those schools next year to address 18,000 empty seats across the district. And parents, educators are concerned as to what the loss of these schools might mean for their communities. They are accusing district leaders of ignoring ongoing community feedback. The Board of Education expects a final list of targeted schools, including Oak Grove and Henderson Mill, by the end of this year. But I know a lot of you guys have been talking about how this could affect DeKalb County schools and your community. Curious if a school you guys use or ones that your children attend is on the closure list. One thing leaders have said is that there's been declining enrollment, and some of these schools are facing aging infrastructure that would cost too much to repair. So we'll keep you updated as we get any new information or if officials change their minds. I also want to let you know, we talked about this yesterday, but we're talking about a deadly double shooting in Brookhaven because police are really urging anyone with information to come forward. And they really are stressing that they want to understand what unfolded here because this late night shooting happened at an apartment complex in Brookhaven Brookhaven, and 2 men were killed as a result. Fox 5 cameras captured a vehicle being towed from the area with at least 12 bullet holes riddled through the windshield. We know that detectives are reviewing surveillance footage, but ultimately investigators say they're facing apprehension from witnesses who are reluctant to come forward and speak with officers. And we heard officers say that they know this area may have distrust of police or may not be willing to come forward, but they're asking people to come forward so that way they can get information despite fears to try to solve this case. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we learn any new information. The 2 victims are identified by police were Hispanic men in their early 20s. So we'll continue to keep you updated as we get any new information there. But coming up here at 2 o'clock, I want to go out to our Chris Rosenthal when we come back and check out a special event that is raising money for students to study abroad. And it's really done through a culinary adventure. We're going to talk about it straight ahead. Welcome back in, everybody. I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here at 2 o'clock. It is great to see you. So we talked a little bit about how a special event is raising funds for students to study abroad, and they're doing this through a tasting experience, and it's called Passport Project. Our Chris Rosenthal is going to take us there. So Chris, I'm curious if you're getting to taste the cuisine and, of course, how all of this works.
Well, not yet, because the cuisine's not quite cooked yet. This event will start at 6 o'clock tonight here at the Carlos Ballroom here off of 2500 Claremont Road. This will start at, like I said, 6 o'clock, and they're getting the ballroom ready, getting everything ready to go for the event tonight. They got balloons up. They're getting the room all set up, and yeah, blowing up some balloons here, and getting everything prepped and ready for this event. It is for a good cause, for the Navigate Foundation, and I'm with Chef Simone Byron. She is the president and executive director of the Navigate Foundation. First of all, let's talk about Navigate. What is Navigate? What's the mission here?
Navigate is a nonprofit that supports young people as they enter into the hospitality industry. We are supported by Compass Group and Thompson Hospitality. Compass Group serves as the largest food service company globally. And Thompson Hospitality is the largest minority food service company, and have supported us for the last 8 years to build this, what is now a national apprenticeship program where students can study and work and achieve their certifications through ACF and also the Department of Labor. So it's another route for them to go when they graduate. Some are choosing culinary school, some are now choosing apprenticeship. So we're here to serve as that bridge into the industry.
And talking about, I mean, the ages here, high school kids, college kids, what are we talking about? What kind of student ages here?
Wide range. So 16 to 24. So high school, some students that have already graduated, people that are looking to change a career. Some might have graduated and gone into something and say, it's not for me, what can I try? It's a perfect way to get into the industry and experience everything from sporting entertainment to healthcare to business and industry. It's just a wonderful place to explore and hopefully plant their seed down into the hospitality field.
And, part of that is getting good training. And this event tonight will help those students. Talk to me about that.
We are also doing a study abroad program. The last 3 summers we've done London and Ireland, did Rome, Italy, and then this summer we are doing Switzerland. And so students are going to travel to Switzerland to study at the Swiss Culinary Institute, learning cheese and chocolate international cuisine, and also going to visit one of our campus group sites that is in the Switzerland area. So we're super excited for them. This is a fundraiser. We've got chefs that are coming from all around Atlanta that are going to be working at their stations with the Navigate apprentice to produce their dishes. Very, very excited to have some great talent in the room tonight to help us raise money.
Yeah, Switzerland, this isn't just a fancy trip to Switzerland. I mean, what does this mean to these students who may not otherwise have an opportunity like this?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a chance for exploration, a chance to see outside of their communities, to explore the world, to experience different cultures, globalization. Just the art of traveling alone, right, is an experience for them. So we're super excited for them to go overseas, but then come back and talk about it and get other young people excited about travel and exploring culture.
And the food that goes along with that.
That's right.
And tonight, this event, you have, we talked about it a little bit there, but how many chefs? What kind of food? What can people expect?
I mean, we've got food coming from all different parts of Atlanta. We've got Chef Ken from Marlowe's Tavern. He's going to be doing a play on shrimp and grits. My homegirl, Chef Jen, shout out to La Dame's Escoffier Atlanta. She is coming to do a play on arepas. We have Shirley Hughes from Sweet Cheats Bakery. She's going to do an array of desserts. The good people at ACF Atlanta are going to come and do some kind of crazy duck confit lavender situation with Chef Danny Cicada. We have Chef Donnell with Thompson Hospitality. He's doing a play on macaroni and cheese. And then the Navigate also has a table today with Chef Clarence Griffin. He's going to be working with our students to do a play on a Thai chicken skewer. So very, very excited.
I'm surprised you remember all that. That's so much.
I forgot so much. So yeah, that was half of them.
Enticed right there. So still tickets available?
Yes, tickets available on navigatefoundation.org. We appreciate the support. If you're not able to attend, any donation is so appreciated. And we look forward to seeing everybody here to celebrate with the students and us this evening. But yes, navigatefoundation.org. Go to the drop-down box, donate, and the tickets are there. Also on our Instagram, Navigate Foundation, you'll be able to find all the information there in our bio.
Great. And $75, right?
$75.
$75. That's a lot of food, a lot of different things to try.
Yes,
so,
absolutely.
Again, 2500 Claremont Road here. This ballroom may not look like much now, but they're getting it ready. It should be filled. 150 guests, I think you said. Yeah. So, yep. 6 o'clock, 6 to 9 tonight.
Awesome. Chris, it looks like a wonderful event soon to take place and for a great cause. So thanks for introducing us to this, letting us know how we can support. Appreciate you, Chris. I know we'll see you back here at 3 o'clock as we get a little closer to this event. So Chris, thanks so much. I'll let you get back to it. As we continue here at 2 o'clock, I want to take a brief moment to address some of your questions here that you're asking on YouTube and TikTok. Some of you are asking, what is the latest with the Epstein case? Any updates? As of right now, no major updates here on the U.S. front. One thing that we do know is that lawmakers have subpoenaed Attorney General Pam Bondi to testify about the Justice Department's handling of the release of those files. She said that she will comply with the law, but so far, no date really set for any kind of hearing or testimony that I'm aware of. And I'm taking a look to try to see if I see anything about that. But as of right now, it appears that that's still in the discussion phase. So as soon as I get any updates or dates that have been set by Congress, by leaders, we'll continue to let you know. As many of you are aware, the House Oversight Committee is the one that continues to investigate this. So we'll keep you updated if there is any new information to report. In the meantime, I'm Ariel Onstadt. Thanks so much for being here. More to come here coming up at 3 o'clock.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm your host, Tom Haines, still in our temporary space, but wait until you see that beautiful new streaming set that we've just constructed. It is something else. Should be in there by tomorrow, but in the meantime, we are here getting you caught up on all the breaking news that is happening today. A lot of students, a lot of parents breathing a huge sigh of relief this afternoon at Hillgrove High School. This after a code red was issued there. Some scary moments there on the campus. The district confirming that a firearm was detected on campus, triggering an immediate police response. The student involved, we're told, is in custody this afternoon, and the campus has since returned to code green status. But some very nervous moments there. Officials say safety protocols, recent investments in security helped keep everybody out of harm's way. And coming up here in just a couple of minutes, we're going to check in with our Deidre Dukes, who is live for us at the state capitol this afternoon, with new legislation that lawmakers are debating in the state Senate today about having students pass through metal detectors on their way into campuses across the state of Georgia in the interest of keeping students safe and to avoid situations like at Hillgrove High School that we're seeing unfolding today. But again, everybody is safe there. The student that brought that weapon on campus now, we're told, in custody. Also, off the top here at 3 o'clock, the Atlanta police chief telling the city's Public Safety Committee today that crime is still down, and so are car thefts, particularly at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport, something that authorities there have been battling. Let's get out to Angelique Proctor live at City Hall with the afternoon's brand new developments. Angelique?
Well, good afternoon to you, Tom. We are actually out at the airport, not at City Hall this afternoon, but stolen cars has really been a nagging problem for the city of Atlanta, and particularly here at Hartsfield-Jackson. It's gotten a whole lot worse, but the chief announced yesterday that they have actually taken a bite out of a lot of these stats, and they've made some very significant arrests. So stolen cars right now are down here at the Atlanta airport. And one of the things that they did was sort of redeploy staffing out here to the airport. They reworked some resources, and actually it all seems to be working. So now the chief says the numbers are down almost 50% here at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport and the surrounding lots. Now, we have reported in the past, as the chief has described, that this was sort of a very organized group of people that target these high-end cars here at the airport and use a device to get in them to create fake keys, and then they drive right out of the lots. No glass broken, no alarms going off, virtually undetected. It's something that had been happening at airports across the country and was happening here at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. But police say they have gotten a handle on it, and listen now to how they did that.
We redeployed additional resources to the airport, assigned investigators from Public Safety Headquarters to that initiative, also worked with the Department of Aviation to bring about enhancements around the physical security of the airport's parking areas. As you can see, that has had a significant drop in vehicle thefts across the city. You see that year to date, we have a 26% reduction in auto thefts in Atlanta. That's going on top of last year's reduction. And then the airport has almost a 50% reduction as we've targeted individuals stealing vehicles.
Now, with this crackdown, there have been a whole lot more arrests. Arrests like the person that we want to tell you about now, Chanel Denise Reed, who has been charged with not one, not two, but 10 auto thefts, all from here at the airport. And they say she was, in fact, using that device that creates those keys. Let's hear now about her arrest.
Saw last year of high-end cars being targeted, and then programmers being used to actually steal those cars has continued. We did take into custody one individual, Sherelle Reed, who we have alleged stole cars from our airports on the August 18th of last year, September 20th last year, 2 cars on October 12th of last year, and another vehicle in October. Those were Cadillac Escalades as well as Corvettes that were being stolen. Almost all of those were stolen with a programmer, the ability to get close to the vehicle, be able to bring up a fake key and be able to take the vehicle without breaking any glass, without setting off any alarm systems. We encourage everyone to carry with them clubs and other devices that allow you to ensure that tactic is not successful. Ms. Reed has posted bond, and then last week we issued arrest warrants charging her with 5 additional motor vehicle thefts that we have identified.
And this auto theft reduction coming just in time, Tom. As you know, the world is on its way to Atlanta with the World Cup. Lots of people will be here at the airport. This will no doubt be a very high-profile destination, and we certainly want our visitors as well as our residents to feel safe when they park their car here at the airport.
Yeah, wanting to put our best foot forward for sure, Angelique. You know, when somebody goes out to get into their car at the airport and it's gone, you think that it's just a random act of auto theft. But it turns out, from what the police chief is saying and from what you're reporting, that this is a very organized operation. But it sounds like they're at least making a big dent in what's happening there, trying to control the people that are going into the airport parking decks to steal these vehicles.
Absolutely. They made a concerted effort, putting in not only more staffers, but more cameras, more eyes and ears. They were watching as you exit these parking garages what was happening, because many times they found that one car was trailing another to get out. They did a whole lot here, and it's good to see that all of their work actually came to fruition to reduce the numbers just in time for the World Cup.
Yeah. Angelique Proctor with some good news from the airport and the city of Atlanta as a whole when it comes to crime. Angelique, thanks so much. Speaking of the airport, late morning wait times seem to be dwindling there at Hartsfield-Jackson International as people try to make their way through the Transportation Security Administration, trying to get to their flights in the midst of this partial government shutdown. That is due to the fact that we have the presence of federal law enforcement officers, namely ICE agents there, to try to help organize the queuing up of these lines and the movement through TSA. Now, a lot of people said, well, ICE isn't qualified to screen people at the TSA checkpoints, but that's not what ICE is doing. They're helping organize, they're helping facilitate, they're helping move people through in a timely and organized fashion. And it looks like, at least from what we're seeing by this video that we took this morning, that it seems to be having an effect. Travelers did report having some clearance issues through checkout, about 30 minutes. But boy, that sure beats the 90 plus minutes that we've seen in the past few days. We're still waiting to see the final results of this effort at other airports across the country. In just a second, we're going to take you to the White House, where President Trump just spoke in the Oval Office not too long ago, swearing in the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary Mark Wayne Mullen. That swearing in just happened here a couple of minutes ago. Meantime, Delta Airlines coming out with a big announcement today, something a lot of people are talking about online, saying that they're no longer providing special privileges to members of Congress to get through the airport. That was a big issue that a lot of people were talking about, saying, well, if we're waiting in lines that are 90 plus minutes long, why are members of Congress who can't seem to pass funding for the Department of Homeland Security getting personal escorts through TSA lines? Why shouldn't they be waiting like everyone else? It is a privilege that lawmakers enjoy, that the airlines provide to get them through security faster. They are high-profile people. They, in many cases, do require more security, and they do require quicker transport up to D.C. when it comes to casting votes and processing legislation and what have you. But Delta coming out today saying, well, if you guys are the ones holding up the legislation, why are we holding your hand getting you through security and letting you skip to the front of the line? Again, something that's been making its way across social media with great praise on the part of Delta Airlines. Now to that news conference in the Oval Office this morning. President Trump and the Attorney General Pam Bondi swearing in Mark Wayne Mullen today as the new head of the Department of Homeland Security. This after Kristi Noem was fired not too long ago. The president there in the Oval Office taking questions, swearing in former Senator Mark Wayne Mullen from Texas. Let's listen to part of what happened at the White House today.
Thank you very much. It's a great day for me because I have a lot of confidence in this gentleman. And we're thrilled to swear in our new Secretary of Homeland Security, a great American patriot, to put it mildly, Mark Wayne Mullen. And I want to just say, Mark Wayne, congratulations. Great. Thank you. You deserve it. You're a great man. Let me also thank Secretary Mullen's beautiful family, including his wife, Kristi. Thank you. His sons, Jim and Jace and Andrew, and daughters, Lara, Ivy, Lynette, and other members of the Mullen family. It's a beautiful family. You would know this guy. He's our big top wrestling guy. I won't wrestle him for anything. An all-American wrestler, huh? Good. You have good genetics in that family. Proud of you. Thanks as well to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Chairman Jason Smith, Congressman Josh Gottheimer, former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy, and many other friends that are gathered with us. It's great great group of people. For 13 years, Mark Wayne has represented the incredible state of Oklahoma, a state that I won 77 out of 77 counties 3 times in a row, so they like me there. Second was Ronald Reagan at 56. Did you know that? 56, that's not bad. But 77, it's 77 out of 77, I think, right? That's not bad. But he was there in Congress as a member of the House and then as an outstanding United States Senator. And he really has been outstanding. He's been a close and vital partner in helping us secure the border, stop migrant crime, end the scourge of illegal drugs, and make America safe again and make America great again. And he's a tremendous player. He worked with Tom Homan, worked with all of our people on the right, and many more. And everything he's done has been good. I say everything he touched, he's turned to gold. Now, but even in business, he was successful, in all fairness. And he was successful, and he said, I want to go into politics. I hope you're happy. But as the only Native American, I didn't know that, huh? Let me look at you. Well, I think that's all right. He's got great quality, I can tell you. It's the only Native American in the Senate. How many have been there before you? Do you know? Native American?
I think 3.
3. Well, you're a fantastic representative. Mark Wayne has also been a fantastic advocate for our cherished tribal communities. He's now the first member of the Cherokee Nation ever to serve as a member of the cabinet. I didn't know all these things. I would have picked him faster if I had known. I would have made a quicker decision. Prior to his career in public service, Mark Wayne had a very successful career in business, leaving school at age 20 after his father got sick, taking over his family business and turning it into a multi-million-dollar success story. He's a very successful guy. Mark Wayne has also a career as an MMA fighter. That's why I looked at his ears and I said, I'm not going to fight with him. You can tell a lot about a person by their ears, right? During which he went totally undefeated. He was undefeated during his career, and he's been inducted into the Oklahoma Wrestling Hall of Fame. And the family is made of fantastic wrestlers, especially that guy right there. That's my favorite guy, huh? And suffered bad injury and come back stronger than ever, I think. So good to have you, man, right? I have no doubt that as he takes the helm of DHS, Mark Wayne will fight for Homeland Security, the United States, and securing the country and making it really strong and the way it should be. Our country's come a long way in the last year. We set it up so beautifully, and then we had 4 years of horror. We had 4 years of disgusting horror, open borders, and things that nobody would even think of. You wouldn't even think of. 25 million people poured into our country, and we've gotten a lot of them out, but we have a lot more to go. We have 11,888 murderers came into our country. People came in from all over the world, from prisons and gangs, gang members, drug dealers, people from mental institutions, insane asylums. That's the mental institution times 2. And what they allowed to happen to our country can never be allowed to happen again, and it won't. With Mark Wayne, we have somebody that's strong, professional, and fair. As you know, the department that Mark Wayne takes over today is currently shut down by radical left Democrat thugs in Congress who have blocked all funding for DHS because they're trying to shield illegal alien criminals, gang members. They want to protect them from being taken out of the country, drug dealers, murderers.
All right, you're listening to President Trump there in the Oval Office not too long ago, just before the swearing in of Mark Wayne Mullen, the new Department of Homeland Security Secretary, taking the place of Kristi Noem. Hopefully this will help precipitate the reopening, so to speak, of TSA checkpoints across the United States, get TSA workers back on the job. If Congress can work to reopen that part of the government, specifically the Department of Homeland Security and other agencies that lack funding right now due to Congress's impasse. The president, again, speaking not too long ago from the Oval Office. Still a lot more ahead as we continue here on the 3 p.m. streaming hour of Fox Local. In just a minute, we're going to check in with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. Quite a cool down out there as we continue to battle pollen levels, which are off the charts. Jonathan is going to tell us how the rest of the week's forecast is going to pan out right when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta studios, bringing you up to date on all the news that is happening today, including our weather. Let's bring in meteorologist Jonathan Stacy. Jonathan, tracking quite a cool down in temperatures and that pesky pollen still flying around out there.
Those are our problems. You have articulated them well, Tom. We have the problems in the way of the temperatures buckling a bit over yesterday. We reached highs in the 80s. Today we barely reached into the low 60s, and you can see where the warm weather is on the map of the United States. It continues to bite out west, where the current temperature in Phoenix, Arizona is 71 degrees. Or 91 degrees, but I already have my mind on Houston, where I'm going next, and that's where it's 79. And as you get farther to the east and go into the north, you can see here the temperatures just cool down fairly quickly. Atlanta at this hour, we're at 67 degrees. What happened? Well, cold front moved through yesterday, and it didn't bring us any precip, but it opened the door for some cold air to come in. And to call it cold may be a bit dramatic. It was a sharp cool down in the contrast from the weekend that was very summer-like. And this places us back in a more spring-like pattern, if you will. And that cold air is shared with our neighbors up to the north across New England, the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic, going into the Ohio River Valley, across the Tennessee Valley, and yes, the Deep South as well. So we're not alone in this midweek chill, if you will. It's brought to us by high pressure, which is in control. It shut out any moisture from reaching us. Another Clipper system's rolling by, hitting the northern Great Lakes, approaching the Canadian-U.S. border overnight, and will likely impact the interior New England states as we get deeper into the work week. Overall, it's a pretty quiet week. We'll watch this area of low pressure and this one here. They're going to try to jet across the United States and may pose some issues, especially for the Ohio River Valley, by the time we get to Thursday. Overall, the weather is calm from coast to coast, but not for long. Once again, our eyes are on the Ohio River Valley as we get into the day Thursday. So if your travels take you north, got family, friends up there, they're going to have to deal with another round of potentially severe storms, a level 2 out of 5 risk, if you will. As for central Illinois, central Indiana, and the western portions of Ohio there, and then the peripheries have a bit of a level 1 out of 5 risk there. Anywhere from Kansas all the way into parts of western New York and Pennsylvania. So once again, that's where all the excitement in terms of energy will be. And that's where the brunt of the rainfall for America will linger and abide over the next 7-day period, up to 2 inches possible over 7 days, which the focus is going to be on this area for Thursday specifically. What can we get down here? Zilch, a big goose egg with our rain chances. There is a chance we could get a few passing showers at any point in time, but I just don't really see it happening, folks. We're going to end March on a pretty dry note area-wide. So that said, you can see it here on your 6 to 10 day outlook, which takes us into the first full week of April. It looks like drier than average conditions will abide across the Carolinas, and Georgia is included in the bunch. Wetter weather will be across the western and the Midwest specifically. Right now we're at 67 degrees in town. We've managed to break free from the 60s down south there in Thomaston, but you're still holding on to 60s like there in Athens. Beautiful look out at the airport. Not bad, but it's been the winds that have kind of stifled our growth in terms of the temperatures today. Got an east wind coming in at 8 miles an hour. The numbers are going to try to just hang out in the 60s for the next few hours, and then we'll pull them down into the 50s, and we'll wake up in the 40s. So a jacket tomorrow morning, that's a good idea. I may even wear a sweater in tomorrow. You know I like sweaters, so I think I'll do that tomorrow. 47 degrees when we wake up. By 9 o'clock, we're at 49. Then we'll just meander through the 50s, and we'll try to get some 60s on the board. We may do it. We may not do it. I'm aiming for a high of 66 degrees. We'll up that by 11 degrees for Thursday. Quite the turnaround. And then when it's time to play some baseball, Friday's opening day, it's going to be pretty nice. 86 degrees. Then another cool down on the backs of another frontal passage, Tom, as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Palm Sunday looking good, 70 degrees. Feeling pretty good as well. Then the 70s and 80-plus degree temperatures, they're locked in once again for next week. Once again, here's the deal. The rain's pretty much shut out, so that means the pollen is going to have its way, especially on our warm days when the atmosphere is more buoyant. That pollen is suspended in the air, and it has nowhere to go except
in your nose.
Yeah.
Causing us to sneeze.
Yeah.
I know, like, how many weeks of the yellow-green stuff do we have flying around? It's like, it seems like around 3 to 4 weeks of that before, before it's out of here.
the first 2 weeks of April, what I've seen over the past, 5 years I've been here. So maybe like the first 2 weeks of April, and then after that, grasses can be annoying and weeds. But then you're, by late April, we're starting to say so long.
And then
So
I'm
we're
looking,
in the thick
I'm
of it
looking
now.
behind you. You guys love in the spring when a huge rain system moves through, because then it washes away a lot of that pollen. But I don't see anything.
That's what we count on, and that's why I know the numbers are about to go wild.
Yeah.
Especially on a day like Thursday and Friday.
Right, when temps go up to almost 90 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
We're on our weather roller coaster.
And we could tie a record on Friday. The current record set back in 1994.
Incredible, but it looks like a nice weekend ahead, so we'll take that.
Yeah.
Jonathan, thanks so much. I want to talk to you about a situation out in Hawaii right now. Parts of Hawaii recovering from catastrophic flash flooding. Speaking of rain, they are getting way too much of it, triggering more than 200 rescues and forcing thousands of people to evacuate. These storms, which officials are calling the worst in 20 years in Hawaii, ripped through Oahu and the Maui area, upending cars, leaving behind an estimated $1 billion worth of damage. And look at what was left behind. While power remains out for thousands of islanders, many schools remain closed. Authorities say that no deaths have been reported as of yet. It's just a storm that left a whole lot of damage behind there and a whole lot of flooding along with it. Search and rescue teams remain on the ground as this massive cleanup out in Hawaii, one of the most beautiful places in the United States, cleans up from devastating flooding out there. I want to talk to you about that crash investigation now in New York at LaGuardia Airport after that Air Canada plane slammed into that fire truck, causing the 2 pilots to be killed in that crash. The NTSB is promising to leave no stone unturned as this investigation continues. An Air Canada jet rammed that truck and remains on the runway this afternoon as officials do their work. Now, I'm told that they've recovered both the flight voice recorder and the flight data recorder. We've already heard a lot of the tower chatter, and perhaps you've seen the video online of the tower talking to the fire truck that collided with that commuter jet, telling it to stop, 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 but it was too late. The truck was already on that active runway, and that's when that horrible collision happened, killing the 2 pilots on board, ejecting the flight attendant off of that plane some 200 yards away from the wreckage. She survived, injured, but she happens to be okay. The Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, other officials spoke this afternoon about the investigation.
All right, good afternoon. Again, I'm Jennifer Homendy, and I'm chairwoman of the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB. With me today on my left is John DeLue. He is a new board member with the National Transportation Safety Board, and he's here on his training launch. To my right is Doug Brazy. Doug is our investigator in charge, or IIC, as we refer to the investigator in charge. Again, he's a senior aviation accident investigator that has been with the board for 34 years. So today, as I mentioned yesterday, today's our full first day on scene, and we have a lot to cover. In fact, we started the morning with a 2-hour meeting just to organize our investigative groups and walk through what we needed to accomplish today. Fortunately, the entire NTSB team has arrived. Like I said yesterday, we had significant delays with investigators getting here due to backups of TSA lines, and in fact, I understand that this press conference had to move because the lines were actually wrapping around the building. But I do have a lot of investigative information to share today. First, as I mentioned yesterday, we were able to take possession of the cockpit voice recorder and the flight data recorder. That was at 9:57 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Our investigator, our local investigator, had immediately began a trip down to our headquarters in Washington, D.C. to take the CVR and FDR to our labs for downloading and for analysis. We do have some preliminary information to share from the final 3 minutes of from the cockpit voice recorder. And again, I just want to say it's preliminary and is subject to change. And for that, I'm going to turn that piece over to Doug Brazy.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. The airplane was equipped with an Akron Aviation Model Survivor 2.5 cockpit voice recorder and an Akron Aviation Model FA2100 flight data recorder. The cockpit voice recorder contained more than 25 hours of good quality audio across 4 separate channels. The flight data recorder contained approximately 80 hours of data and recorded more than 400 parameters. The NTSB will convene a cockpit voice recorder group scheduled for tomorrow at the NTSB headquarters in Washington, D.C. to review the accident flight recording and produce a written transcript. The following is a summary of events captured on the cockpit voice recorder during the final 3 minutes of the recording. All times are referenced to the end of the CVR recording. 3 minutes and 7 seconds prior to the end of the recording, the approach controller instructed the airplane to contact LaGuardia Tower. At 2 minutes and 45 seconds, the flight crew lowered the landing gear. At 2 minutes and 22 seconds, the flight crew checked in with the LaGuardia Tower. At 2 minutes and 17 seconds, the LaGuardia Tower cleared the airplane to land on runway 4 and advised that they were number 2 for landing. At time 1 minute and 52 seconds, the flight crew set the flaps to 30 degrees. At 1 minute and 33 seconds, the flight crew set the flaps to 45 degrees. At 1 minute and 26 seconds, an electronic 1,000 call-out occurred from the enhanced ground proximity warning system, indicating that the airplane was 1,000 feet above the ground. At 1 minute and 12 seconds, the flight crew confirmed that the landing checklist was complete. At 1 minute and 3 seconds, an airport vehicle made a radio transmission to the tower, but that transmission was stepped on by another radio transmission, and the source of who made that transmission has yet to be identified. At 54 seconds, the flight crew acknowledged that the airplane was 500 feet above the ground and on a stable approach. At 40 seconds, the LaGuardia Tower asked which vehicle needed to cross a runway. At 28 seconds, Truck 1 made a radio transmission to the tower. At 26 seconds, the tower acknowledged that radio transmission. At 25 seconds, Truck 1 requested to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 20 seconds, the tower cleared Truck 1 and company to cross runway 4 at taxiway Delta. At 19 seconds, an electronic 100 enhanced ground proximity warning system callout occurred. At 17 seconds, Truck 1 read back the runway crossing clearance. At 14 seconds, an electronic 50 callout. At 12 seconds, an electronic 30 callout. And at that same time, the tower instructed a Frontier Airlines flight to hold position. At 11 seconds, an electronic 20 callout occurred. And at 10 seconds, an electronic 10 callout occurred. At 9 seconds, the tower instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 8 seconds, there was a sound consistent with the airplane's landing gear touching down on the runway. At 6 seconds, there was a pilot transfer of controls from one pilot to the other. And at 4 seconds, the tower again instructed Truck 1 to stop. At 0 seconds, the recording ended. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Mr. Brazy had mentioned that 6 seconds before the end of the
accounts there of the second-by-second series or sequence of events of that Air Canada commuter jet as it approached LaGuardia Airport from Canada and encountered that fire truck on the runway, which resulted in the deaths of 2 pilots. Going off of the flight data recorder and the flight voice recorder, that official was able to tell us exactly what happened second by second as the plane approached the runway. And you heard the tower giving clearance, the fire truck asking for permission to cross runway 4, the same exact runway where that Air Canada jet was set to touch down. Obviously, a disastrous confluence of events, which again resulted in the deaths of those 2 pilots. As the hours and days continue to unfold, we're certain to get more information about exactly what happened here and the faults, if there are any to go around, about what led up to this aviation disaster up in the tri-state area. Coming up here, they were calling it a piece of history and a massive fire at the old Floyd County Courthouse. We're going to be live out there with our Kevin Stewart as we continue. Welcome back, everybody, to the 3 p.m. streaming hour. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta studios here. Appreciate you streaming with us on our social media platforms, on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, of course, on our mobile streaming app, Fox Local, or if you're at home watching through one of your live channels this afternoon. Certainly appreciate you here being with us as well, or listening to us on the radio. We're everywhere, 107.9 HD2 FM. Glad you're listening along with us today. A historic piece of Georgia history in ruins after a massive blaze gutted the old Floyd County Courthouse. Let's get out to our Kevin Stewart, who's on that scene live for us with more information on exactly what might have happened here. Kevin?
Yeah, Tom, we have been able to confirm that there was some renovation going on at the courthouse on the exterior, but the truth is right now they do not know what caused this fire. A building 130 years old and just an important part of the community. It's actually, building's actually on the community's logo. So this really means a lot to people in this community. I can tell you that the fire department remains on scene. They've been out here most of the day. In fact, one truck that's been out here since we've been out here today just pulled off. Not sure if they're going to be coming back, but we were told earlier that they do expect to be out here a good bit of the day looking for hot spots. They've had drones in the air. They had a ladder truck spraying up, and if you take a look up here, you can see this bit of metal that's hanging off here. With the wind, you can see it blowing. When it gets really hard, you can hear it rattling pretty loudly. We're told that they were trying to take that down earlier, but chose not to. They say it's fixed there, and what they want to do is make sure that it does not fall into the street. So what's happening today right now is you've got a lot of logistics that the community is trying to work on. This courthouse behind me was not a fully operational courthouse, but did have the tax commissioner's office, the tax assessor's office. So we're talking about property taxes, we're talking about tags, and what they've done is they're going to move it to a building the county owns across the street, and they're hoping that they'll be ready to go first thing tomorrow morning. Now, there are other things that need to be done to see what can be done with this building, and I understand that the county commission is actually going to have a meeting tonight. Take a listen.
After this one, we'll be meeting tonight, our regular meeting. Our caucus is at 4, our meeting's at 6. We do have some emergency funds allocated to start the process of relocating offices and anything else that has to be done to secure the site. We do have some contractors that we've reached out to start getting quotes on potential demolition to get it safe. I'd love for the building to be intact, but it's pretty severely damaged, and the bell tower is still a concern. There's a bulge or two. I'm not a structural engineer either, but there are some bulging on the brickwork on a couple of the sides, and we just need to make it safe for the public, the downtown businesses, and pedestrians in the area.
I understand there was work going on outside, some renovations, correct?
That is what I am understanding from the manager and other people, that there was some renovations going on.
You've been able to get anyone in there, or you can't?
Not at this time. It's still very insecure. We don't want to go in there and do any more damage to any kind of evidence or anything like that. We'd rather have County Manager McCord to give us the okay to go in and start being able to do any kind of work.
Again, so they have not been able to determine what caused this fire, and they have not been able to get inside because of the structural integrity of this building. We've had a chance to talk to some people in the community. In fact, I did talk to a woman who owns a boutique here, 15 years. She showed up this morning to see what was going on at her business, and she went inside and she found water inside the building. Her building, you see the courthouse right here. Her building is across the street on the next block. You can see it right back over there. You see the Farmers Insurance, which is closed, but a little further down that block. She said that she had no idea that all the water that they were pouring on the courthouse to try to knock this fire down, some of that would end up in her facility. So now she's not quite sure when she's going to open up again. She's busy trying to get a hold of her insurance company to see what can be done. Tom?
Kevin, it'll be interesting. We're certainly happy nobody was hurt in that fire, but if they choose out there in Floyd County to rebuild this old historic structure, or at least restore it, you say it's on the face of the official government seals and symbols. I mean, is that part of the plan kind of moving forward here?
Well, they're hoping that can be done, but they really don't know right now. At that county commission meeting, you heard they're going to free up some money to start getting the engineers in here to take a look at what can be salvaged. But you get the impression that it might be tough because of the structure, the structural integrity, particularly at the top, at the steeple there.
Yeah, and coming up with the funding and the resources and the time to do it all might be quite a big feat for that county. Kevin Stewart, with what happened out there yesterday in this dramatic fire that took down that old courthouse. Kevin, thanks. Also in the news here at 3 o'clock this afternoon, the Georgia Court of Appeals has upheld the firing of a Cobb County teacher who read a book about gender fluidity to her 5th grade class. The ruling affirms the 2023 termination of Katie Rindrell, whose case had made national headlines. Rindrell had filed a separate lawsuit against the district claiming that its policies unlawfully targeted LGBTQ issues. Well, she has until April 1st to appeal this latest decision, but the Georgia Court of Appeals upholding her firing. DeKalb County parents are fighting a plan to close 22 schools over the next several years. Roughly 100 protesters gathered at Lakeside High School on Monday, accusing district leaders of ignoring community feedback. Officials say that the move is necessary to address 18,000 empty seats across the county. If approved, the closures would be phased in over 6 to 8 years starting in 2027. At least that's what we understand. The board expects a final list of targeted schools by the end of this year, but parents and the community certainly weighing in on that issue. 2 men are dead following a late-night shooting at a Brookhaven apartment complex, we understand. Officers finding one victim shot to death inside a car and another person lying nearby. Investigators say that vehicle was riddled with at least 12 bullet holes, we understand. Detectives reviewing surveillance, but say that witnesses are reluctant to speak or come forward to tell them what they saw happen. However, they're saying that anybody with information is urged to submit an anonymous tip to help them solve this shooting mystery. Coming up here, local students getting a taste of Switzerland. Our Chris Rosenthal will join us live here as we continue. Welcome back, everybody, to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes. You know, some local students are getting a little bit of taste of Switzerland through what is called the Passport Project. What is this all about? Let's get out to our Chris Rosenthal, standing by live to tell us. Hey, Chris.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, so I am over here at the Carlos Ballroom here. This is off 2500 Claremont Road, and this room right now, it's a bit of a buzz because 6 o'clock this will be there will be a dinner served here, for a very good cause for culinary students to get an opportunity to study abroad. Very valuable experience. This is put on by the Navigate Foundation. There will be lots of food here, lots of options for people. Again, 2500 Claremont Road. Going to be $75 starting at 6 o'clock. But I want to talk a little bit more about what this is about. So first of all, I'm joined by Chef Simone with Navigate Foundation. Tell me a little bit about Navigate Foundation.
Yes, Navigate Foundation is a nonprofit that is focused on providing pathways for young people to get into hospitality and culinary arts. Here in Atlanta. We're also in Charlotte, Chicago, a couple of cities in New Jersey, Connecticut, and Nevada. So we are expanding. It's now a national nonprofit with the Department of Labor and also an accredited ACF apprenticeship program.
And this is to raise money to get some students to go to Switzerland. This is more than just a fancy trip to Switzerland. I mean, talk to me about this experience here.
Yeah, so we are raising money to send students across the pond, as they say, to Switzerland to study cheese and chocolate international cuisine at the Swiss Culinary Institute. Give them a chance to learn about travel, globalization, culture, and just to see something outside of their local communities here. So Study Abroad is an initiative that we've had for, this will be our third Study Abroad trip, so we're very, very excited and very thankful for the support here this evening.
These are, tell me about the ages of these students. I mean, this is something they've probably never experienced before.
Yes, a couple of our students that are going on the trip will be their first time flying. So it's going to be a wonderful experience. They are ages 16 to 24. So we're really, really excited to be having these young people have this experience so early in life and be able to build on their careers from there.
Awesome. There's going to be a lot of food here served. I'm going to talk to one of the chefs here from Marlowe's Tavern. You're going to be working with, there'll be students here as well. You'll be working with some of the students here. And, talk to me about, as a chef, what does an experience like this mean for a chef here?
It's important, it's an opportunity to give back to the kids and really teach the youth what the industry is needing. The restaurant and the skill set of a chef is kind of dying off, especially with social media and all the small things, but being able to teach hands-on and give great experiences and lessons to the kids is important.
Yeah, I do a lot of stories on skilled trades. I mean, This is a skilled trade that's very much in demand and kind of AI-proof, huh?
Yeah. Can't really teach AI to use a knife and give you culinary skills, so it's important that we're here.
Yeah. What are you going to be making today?
We're going to do a twist on our classic shrimp and grits. We're going to do white cheddar grits.
Chris Rosenthal out at a cool event. It's called the Taste of Switzerland, the Passport Project, with some local chefs, a couple of them talking about what they are making tonight, the inspiration behind this program, and to really inspire the next generation, okay? Because that's what things like this are all about, exposing them to world culinary opportunities and getting their taste profiles to expand, and so that they can learn about other cultures and countries. Do we have Chris back? I can hear him, but I'm not sure if we have him. Do we have him? All right, Chris, I think you dropped out for a sec. Really interesting stuff what you were telling us, so carry on.
Am I back? All right, cool. So, sorry, we had a little technical difficulties here. Sometimes that happens, but I've got one of the students here that's going to be lucky enough to go do this program, and you're just out of high school, and you're getting, this is Caitlin here, by the way, and she's just out of high school, getting to go to Switzerland. This opportunity as a young, up-and-coming chef.
It's an amazing opportunity, and it means so much to me because it means to me that these people from this Navigate program, really has faith in what I do and what I see in myself and what I want to do in the future, and just means so much. It inspires me and gives me faith that I will keep on doing whatever God is giving me these opportunities to do.
What excites you most about going over there?
Definitely networking, and also meeting new chefs and learning international cuisines.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, this is a great opportunity for these students, and again, there's quite an extensive menu of food options here tonight. Chef Simone, you come over here. You were kind of going through some of the menu a little bit earlier with me today. Whatever you can remember, what can people expect when they come here?
Most of the chefs are doing some form of an elevated, Southern contemporary cuisine. We've got shrimp and grits, and we've got some variations on mac and cheese. We've got one of our chefs that is doing a duck lavender spring roll. We have our top pastry chef in Atlanta, Shirley Hughes, is going to be doing some of her delectable treats tonight as well. We are also going to be joined by the ACF Atlanta with Chef Danny Circada, Nick Barrington of East Lake Golf Club. We also have Jasmine Nathan. She's going to be doing so it's just, so many contemporary Southern flavors all over the place. Chefs are cooking dishes that are near and dear to their hearts. Some of the stuff that they've learned along their travels. We're so excited for all of the talent and creativity coming to the space this evening.
And the students will be here helping out, and still tickets left, $75, right?
Yes, navigatefoundation.org. And then also on our Instagram, Navigate Foundation, and also Chef Simone Byron on Instagram as well. Tickets are available on all platforms.
Wonderful, wonderful. It starts at 6 o'clock. Again, they're getting the room ready. Sounds like a lot of great food options, and for a really good cause here.
Great idea, Chris, to bring together people to support these students in their culinary journeys, to be able to send them overseas, through this program and the generous donations of people coming to an event like that. So innovative, so cool, and you could really see the excitement among the young chefs there, trying out their skills in the culinary world and being surrounded by such professionals in the industry. Something they're really, really privileged to be able to participate in. Chris Rosenthal live for us this afternoon. Chris, thanks. As we close out the 3 p.m. streaming hour here, I want to take you live to the New York Stock Exchange, where stocks have been giving back today after their rally yesterday. Investors confused as to what the situation actually is in Iran, after the president came out yesterday, said that negotiations are underway to end the conflict. The price of oil is still high, and so investors kind of uncertain as to what is the way forward. The markets have just a couple of minutes left in the trading session. Looks like we're going to end on a negative note for today. Thanks so much for joining us here for the 3 p.m. streaming hour on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haines. Don't go anywhere. The news continues right here, right now.
Fox 5 News.